Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event? JSC PAO, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Courtney Beasley with JSC PAO. How do you hear me? Crew-6, it's great to see all of you today. Thanks for taking the time to answer some questions about your mission ahead of your departure from the station. We'll be taking some questions from our phone bridge and through our social media using the hashtag AskNASA. As a reminder, for those on the phone bridge, press *1 when you're ready to ask your question and *2 if your question has already been answered. And on social media, be sure to use the hashtag AskNASA if you'd like to submit a question. And if your question is for a specific astronaut, please direct that question to them by name. Before we start taking questions today, we'll kick it off with some opening remarks from Crew-6. Take it away.
We got a lot done during our mission. We had 2 visiting SpaceX cargo vehicles, the CRS 27 and 28 missions with lots of science on board. We, as a crew, conducted a total of 3 spacewalks. We had the Axiom crew come visit us in May. We've done a lot of maintenance up here, especially this summer. It's been a busy maintenance period. Captured the Cygnus 19 vehicle. And so it's just, those are just a few highlights, but it's been a real adventure and a lot of fun. I did also want to recognize my classmate and colleague, Frank Rubio. We've been up here for 6 months. Frank thought when he flew to space he would be here for 6 months, and partway through his mission he found out that it was extended to a year. His leadership up here as the USOS lead has been incredible. He's been amazing to work with, and Frank is just making a huge sacrifice being away from his family for so long, and I just want to really recognize the service he's given to us aboard the space station. All right, it's my honor to turn it over to Sultan, and I also wanted to just recognize Sultan as the first long-duration UAE astronaut. It's been amazing working with him up here, and getting to see him do the first spacewalk of any astronaut from his region was one of the true highlights of our mission.
Thanks so much, Woody. And ground, we have an echo here. If you can turn off the mic whenever we're talking. I totally agree with you guys, Steve, Woody. It's a great pleasure working with you guys. It's been an amazing journey. It's hard to believe that we're already there, right? It's been a trip of a lifetime. I think it's amazing. Every part of it was amazing. Arriving here and saying goodbye to a crew that we had a short handover with them, and we're just gonna do the same with Crew-7. It's hard to believe, honestly, but every part of it was amazing. Our spacewalks, our experiments, our daily routine, the interaction with the students from all over the world, it was really amazing, and just spreading the enthusiasm is really amazing. And hopefully it won't be the end. Hopefully we'll get to fly together as a crew, and we always get to be asked whether we want to fly with the same crew, and I always say 100%. So I would definitely choose you guys to fly in the future again. Over to you.
Thank you all. It was a nice experience for me. It was a great crew. My crew members, thank you for each evening, each day what I spent here, and I think we did many useful things for people's future, what will move mankind to forward. Yeah, thank you.
Of a technical difficulty at first, would you please repeat your opening remarks for us?
Okay, do you have our voice now?
We have you loud and clear. It's just for you, Steve,
okay,
to
do you want us
repeat.
to all to repeat our opening remarks?
Just for you, Steve, to repeat.
Oh, just for me. Oh. They all said such wonderful things. I'm at a loss for words. I started off just basically saying what an incredible crew this has been to serve with, and what a great group. And I really am. It's been a privilege and an honor to spend time on board the International Space Station with them. Since the first day we started training together, it's been just fantastic. Just can't imagine having a better crew. And Woody recognizing Frank, that was fantastic as well. Frank has been an outstanding leader as the USOS lead, and really set the example for us to follow throughout our 6 months on board. And as Sultan said, we are coming to the end of this part of the mission, and I know we'll continue on together. If we do ever get a chance to fly again, that would be incredible, because this is, as he said, a crew I would definitely want to fly again with.
All right, thank you all for kicking it off for us, and sorry for that technical difficulty. We'll start taking questions now from our phone bridge. The first question comes from Elizabeth Howell with space.com. Go ahead.
Hello, thanks for finding the time. This one is for Woody. Can you give us a little bit more insight into how you filmed all those great behind-the-scenes videos showing daily life on the International Space Station? Thank you.
Oh, sure. Well, that's been a lot of fun, and actually I have to credit Sultan, who's helped out many times, actually inspiring me to do little short clips like that, and also helping me out as a cameraman. Really, I just wanted to kind of do something that I hope was authentic and in the moment without too much preparation, just showing some of the amazing work that we get to do up here. So anytime that I had a few extra minutes and thought I was doing something a little bit interesting, I figured I'd pull out a camera and hopefully share it with people so they could see.
Okay, and our next question comes from Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press.
Yes, hi, Marcia Dunn, AP. I would like each of the four of you to answer, please. 6 months in space, you're going to be coming back to Earth. Besides family and friends, what are you looking forward to doing or seeing or feeling most? Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the nice ocean air and a peaceful, calm sea. That'll be really nice to get back to, and really just getting around and having that experience.
These guys already know my answer. I'm looking forward to a real shower.
Thank you for helping us saying beside family and friends. Yeah, family and friends are the most important, and beside that, I would love a real hot cup of coffee.
But I think my dream is a bed for good sleeping. I can lay one side, another side, my back. This,
Sleeping.
yeah, sleeping. Thanks.
Our next question is from Bill Harwood with CBS News.
Question is from Bill Harwood, CBS News.
Yeah, hi, Bill Harwood, CBS. Really, for any of you guys, you're speaking about Frank Rubio and spending a year in space. How would you guys describe how you'd feel if someone said, "Hey, you're at the end of 6 months, but hey, you got to stay up another 6 months"? How big of a challenge would that be based on the experience you've had over your 6 month flight? Thanks.
Yeah, obviously that would be a real big challenge, especially this late in the game, because we're within a couple weeks of heading home. So that would be a huge mental challenge to overcome, and not just for me, but also for my family. And I'm sure they all feel the same. That it's a very, very difficult situation to be put in, but ultimately, I think my family would be okay because it's the part of the mission and part of the needs of what we have to do, and I hope I would respond as well as Frank has. He's been absolutely amazing to watch.
Okay, our next question comes from social media from Leah. She asks, what was your favorite day on the space station and why?
Well, my favorite day was my first spacewalk. That was something I've dreamt of for a very long time, and we had a lot of fun going outside and installing a new IROSA solar array. It was truly the experience of a lifetime.
I totally agree with Woody. It is, EVA day. It was amazing, and specifically when we were accomplishing the mission, and we're getting back to the station. That was a moment of a lifetime. Honestly, the hard training, all the years of hard work and preparation and studying, finally coming to an end. So, absolutely, the EVA day.
I think my favorite day was the day of arriving. It was amazing, wonderful, nothing.
Okay, our next question is from Robert Perlman with Collect Space.
Thanks. Did any of the four of you or all of you watch the broadcast of India landing on the moon earlier today, or have since seen the photos from the moon? And if so, can you share if it was particularly surreal watching something like that happen while you yourself are in space, or just give your thoughts on the achievement that was achieved today?
They were saying a podcast, but the broadcast about arriving, yeah.
Yeah, no, they actually had the, you saw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the privilege actually to see that. It was amazing, and I was having my lunch, and I was telling Woody, oh, they made it, and it was really great. It was, as you mentioned, it's really surreal just watching a man-made object landing on the moon, and this is a nation faring, like a space-faring nation like India having the first of a kind mission. It's really amazing. I think it's only the beginning for them, and hopefully many countries and nations will follow the same footsteps. Again, we have an effort going back to the moon, and this is really important to emphasize on the global effort. We can't go alone. We always emphasize on the like shared efforts towards achieving one goal.
Our next question is from Mark Carreau with Aviation Week and Space Technology.
Thank you. My question is for any of you. Is there any kind of takeaway that you especially think you've experienced for future moon exploration during your stay on the space station?
Well, I actually think that Sultan kind of summed it up with the last one. It's incredibly difficult for a single nation to kind of go it alone. So watching the cooperation we've had up here has been really amazing, and really get a chance to appreciate the global effort that needs to be made and how we can all come together and achieve these goals we set out.
Our next question is from Austin with Space Explored.
Afternoon. This question, I'll give it to Sultan, but really anyone could answer. I'd love for you to talk about the kind of challenges of photography in space, and maybe a little bit, if you want to expand on the overview effect, that feeling of just seeing the world without borders, of the difference between seeing that through a window and seeing it, while you're out on an EVA. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Honestly, we have plenty of training on Earth on different equipments and different cameras and lenses. So we arrive equipped with the knowledge and the know-how how to take pictures. But honestly, it was challenging in the first few days because you have to, first of all, and I would say three things. You need to have planning, and then patience, and then the technique. So with that, I would say it will be easier for you to take pictures, and it will be easier for you to target specific locations. And regarding the overall or the overview effect is really deep because you see the planet and everything that you know of, the history and all the actions and the events throughout the history in that planet that you are orbiting every 90 minutes. And it's only protected by, I would say, a thin layer of atmosphere. And it's really surreal, like you're living in a planet that is susceptible to damage. That's why we always say we need to protect it. We need to have good care of it, like collectively, as nations. So that is my view of your questions.
Our next question is from Elizabeth Howell with Space.com.
Hello, this one is for Sultan. I wanted to follow up on the Chandrayaan-3 wonderful news. Were you actually, as a group, watching the broadcast, or were you notified of it? Like, how did you find out that the successful landing had occurred?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see it live. I was only checking the social media while having lunch, and it was all over the news. It was really big, and I saw multiple clips of mission control in Israel, and it was, I think, a nation-wide broadcast. I saw the Prime Minister also watching live, so it was really great watching that achievement, and hopefully, as I mentioned, many nations will follow the same footsteps of India.
Our next question is from Manuel Mazzanti.
Hi, how are you? Congratulations to four of you on a successful mission. This is a question for Sultan Al-Niyari. We know you've been super busy during your stay on the station, but also we saw you on a lot of videos, even in social media, interacting with hundreds, if not thousands of students on live sessions, even answering to your own son. How do you feel? Do you think you have fulfilled part of your mission of inspiring new generations of young people in your country?
Absolutely. I think I come from a region where space flights have been like stopped for more than 30 years. We had two astronauts from that region, and then we stopped for more than 30 years. And my mission is a continuation of the UA program. The first mission was in 2019, conducted by my colleague Hazan Mansouri. So it's a first of a kind, long duration, and I thought I need to deliver and, let's say, fulfill the thirst from the audience and the youngsters in that region. We need to give a simple, scientific answer to their curiosity. So my plan from right at the beginning, just to showcase everything we do here, from science, from the daily life, the routines that we do every day. So I felt like obligated to show that in a real and simple way, so everybody can understand and be beneficial or benefit from the daily life that we do on board the station.
Our next question is from Bill Harwood with CBS News.
Yeah, thanks. And this one's for Steve or Woody, maybe. What's the one thing you'd want to make sure to explain to Crew-7 once they get on board? In other words, maybe a surprise or two that caught you off guard after you got aboard the station that you'd want to, if not warn them about, at least inform them about. Maybe one or two examples of that. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'll provide one, and I'll have Woody fill in the rest. The biggest thing to say is that it'll get better, because when you first get here, when you first get to space, even if you've been here before, that first day, that first couple of days, there's a big transition period, and actually it goes on for about 6 weeks. So patience, and really just keep plugging away, and it all gets smoother, it all gets better, it all gets so enjoyable over the next month or two.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. We've actually had a chance to talk with Crew-7 a few times, which has been really enjoyable. Just talking with them mostly about their flight up on Dragon. We are really looking forward to watching Crew-7 launch on Friday morning. We certainly remember our launch fondly, and I think we kind of suggested that it's worth it for them to really focus on Dragon. They've got a dynamic event coming up, and so I'm expecting that they'll be very focused on their launch, their rendezvous, their docking, and then once they get here, the timescales change completely. So they've got a lot of time. We all feel like we want to go 100 miles an hour and put our training to use and be really effective right away, but it's a long road ahead, and so I hopefully have a bit of time to just relax, enjoy themselves, and get into the groove of living and working up here aboard the space station.
The next question is from social media from Nisoth. What are your takeaways from spending 6 months in space, and is there something that you would like to continue back here on Earth?
He's got a good answer.
Yeah, I think actually I've heard Steve say this a lot. It's really fun to succeed as a team. And being up here, it really feels like we're part of a team. It's a very diverse team. We have people up here from many nationalities, even more of that coming up on Crew-7. And, we're a really tight-knit, close team up here. I want more of that kind of dynamic in my life. It's been really enjoyable being part of this team. And we also really feel it up here how part of the team we are with the ground. The number of people it takes to support missions like these is incredible. And it's just wonderful working every day with our control centers around the world and all of the engineers at places like SpaceX that support these missions and make them happen.
We have another social media question. This one is for Sultan from Ahmed. He wants to know, what is the first thing you will do when you arrive in the UAE?
I'll go home. Yeah, honestly, arriving to your homeland after succeeding your mission, I think it's a great thing to have. I cannot honestly comprehend yet, so hopefully I'll get to spend a little bit of time with the family, and then I think the wheel will start rolling again. Hopefully we can get in touch with a lot of students and share the experience with everybody, and just spread the enthusiasm about space, because this place is amazing, and this is only the stepping stone for future and further, I would say, targets in the space. So yeah, overall, just sharing the experience with everybody.
Next question is from Marvin Marshall with Space Report News.
Hi, good evening, Crew-6 from Planet Earth here. My name is Marvin Marshall with the Space Report News on Twitch.tv. Thank you, NASA, for allowing me this awesome opportunity. And we also want to thank Sultan for all the amazing pictures and videos that you've posted during your 6-month stay. You've inspired us all and no doubt have made your country very proud. My question's for anybody who wants to answer. Have there been any pranks played on each other while you guys were up there? Or, any funny stories that you'd want to share from the past 6 months? Thank you again for all your hard work, and enjoy the ride back to Earth.
Does anybody want to share any of these pranks, or you just want to?
Maybe Woody hiding in the closet, closeout for that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, we'll share that one. Go ahead, Woody.
Yeah, we've had a couple times where we snuck me, I believe, largest human on the space station right now, into some of the smallest places we can find on the space station. So that's been a lot of fun.
And we let him out every single time.
Next question is from Robert Perlman with Collect Space.
Steve, unlike your 3 crewmates there, you returned to Earth before, even aboard another spacecraft named Endeavour. Other than ending with a splashdown, what do you expect will be different this time around compared to your past experiences?
Well, I've thought about that a lot, obviously, through the years. And by my third shuttle flight, I was up walking around. I was perfectly fine after landing. I don't anticipate having that ability this time. I think 6 months and seeing and feeling what that does to your body, I anticipate really having to work harder, much harder, to get back up to full strength. And that, I think, is going to be the biggest difference, is the physical challenge of getting back down. Mentally, I think the transition will happen pretty quickly. It's a good routine, and we have a good plan set up to transition ourselves back to the real world and back to the office.
Next question is from social media from Vebov. How do you keep your leg muscles so strong so that when you get back to Earth, you can properly walk after 6 months?
Well, this is a really important question. We know up here on these long-duration missions that we lose both muscle mass and bone density. And so our primary mitigation against that is a device up here called ARED. It's a resistance exercise machine. So we do, every day, we do a lot of squats and deadlifts, and we have other exercises like bench press we do as well. But for the legs, really, squats and deadlifts is where it's at. We also do a lot of cardio, but that consistency of exercise is really important for setting us up for success when we return.
Our final question is from social media from Anna, asking, how did you start your day on the space station every day?
All right. We woke up. That's a good start. Yeah, so I would wake up. I'm usually the first one up, and I would try and sneak out of my crew quarters without trying to wake anybody else up. I'd head down to Node 1 and grab a cold coffee and read the yesterday's newspaper and whatever the daily plan is.
Yeah, I tend to wake up on the later side in this crew, and we have a document called the Daily Summary that Mission Control puts together. The Orbit 3 shift does that. So typically I wake up, take a look at our schedule for the day, see if there's any updates, read the Daily Summary, grab a coffee, and I'm ready to go for the workday.
Yeah, basically the same. We have a daily routine that we need to follow, and the good thing is you can prepare. It's not like you're going and drive 20 minutes for work next day. You can prepare the day before, and the night before you can prepare for the next day, so the actual day will be smoother. And actually, it's not only work. We gather every day on the breakfast time and the noon time, and finally we get together with the Russians as well during the evening time, and it's really amazing. We're just like one family working together.
How do you wake up?
I can something add, nothing. The same. Woke up and eating, brush my teeth.
Practicing guitar as well.
Sometimes, but after woke up. Thanks.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to everyone who joined through our various platforms. And Crew-6, thanks again for your time today, and we hope you enjoy your final moments on station. We really can't wait to see you back here on Earth so soon. That'll do it for today.
Station, this is
Well,
Houston
thank you all
ACR.
very much. Greatly appreciate all the questions, and we'll see you on Earth.
Station, this is Houston ACR, and that concludes the event.
Thank you, all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
Soyuz 70S crew is reporting for the exams. Good luck. Thank you. Do you have any questions? No. All right. Oleg, is your crew ready? Yes. Right, 15 minutes. And you know that's routine ops with an off-nominal situation. Do you have any questions for the crew? You've got the microphone up. Could you tell us what's going to happen today? Are you worried? Are you excited? It's an exam. Of course we're excited. It is an exam nonetheless. It's going to be routine ops on board with a developed timeline. It's a routine ops timeline. We're going to do payloads, some nominal operations, and we got a question with an off-nominal situation. So for today, we're going to have about 5 off-nominal situations. How long did it take you to prepare for it? 2 years. So, do you have anything else to say about your training? Was it difficult? Was it challenging? Well, let's begin that we were supposed to launch in March, and so we stayed on the ground for 6 months getting ready, and it wasn't easy. So, we'll see at the end of the day.
What are your thoughts on the intricacies of the process of preparation for the cosmonaut?
Yeah, this is something I've been dreaming about since I was a little kid, so I'm really excited for my first flight and also just honored to be a part of this crew. The international partnerships that we have in the space station program is one of my favorite parts of the space station program, so I'm very happy to be here. Thanks.
Could you tell us about the dynamics in your team? I guess you became pretty tight. Maybe your family is already friends. Well, first, we're not a team, we're a crew. And we've been getting ready for this mission for 2 years, and of course, we are a really tight-knit crew. We know each other really well. We are a good crew. I don't have any questions or issues. So, during your mission, do you have any updates about all the experiments and payloads that you're going to have on board? Of course, we already gave an interview about that. We already have all the science plans mapped out. We've been getting ready for all the payloads, and we'll be working on board. Thank you. Is that it? Thank you. All right, it's time to take this exam.
Просто потеря, да?
Soyuz 70S crew is reporting for the exam. Good morning. Choose any. Ready? As far as I understand, everybody's ready. Good morning, Oleg. Congratulations, you passed exams with flying colors yesterday. What is planned for today? Today, we're going to be working all off nominal situations for all stages of flight of the Soyuz. Are you planning to have any off nominal situations? Of course. There is a number of off nominal situations for the Soyuz and other vehicles. And what do you think about your yesterday's exam? It wasn't bad. Let's hope it goes well today too.
Ms. O'Hara, what about you? What are your impressions of yesterday and expectations for today?
Yesterday went well, and I'm excited to get after today's
That's wonderful. Does your spacesuit fit well? Yeah. Good to know. Congrats on the yesterday. Thank you so much.
Shall we begin? Does anybody have any other questions? Can we ask for a traditional photo? Hands together. Oleg, please.
Well, in my left hand I have a feather. In my right hand a hammer. And I guess one of the reasons we got here today was because of a gentleman named Galileo a long time ago who made a rather significant discovery about falling objects in gravity fields. And we thought that where would be a better place to confirm his findings than on the moon. And so we thought we'd try it here for you. The feather happens to be appropriately a falcon.
wildfires.
Being, so isolated out there in the Pacific Ocean, it's easy to feel just so alone in a time like this. And I think it would just be a really great message to say, like, hey, even though we're just this small city in North Carolina that's like an entire ocean and an entire continent away from you, like, we understand your community's suffering, we care about you, and, we want to help.
Aarons is raising money on her personal Instagram page. She's been regularly talking to the Humane Society about what they need. Money is the most helpful, but they do have an Amazon wish list where you can send them necessary supplies.
They're really only starting the process, or have been starting the process in the last few days, of trying to identify pets and reunite pets with their owners.
The Maui Humane Society estimates there are over 3,000 missing pets in the Lahaina area. They add more than 1,000 lost animal reports have already been filed.
It is not going to be just like a 1 week or 2 week crisis. It's going to be months and months. And of course, it's going to overwhelm their shelter space.
And that's why Aarons is hopeful folks right here in Charlotte can help make a difference for people and pets in need.
Giving people who have literally just lost everything the chance to be reunited with their pets is like a gift of a lifetime right now.
I'm Kia Murray, WCNC Charlotte.
If you want to make a difference for the Maui Humane Society, we have links where you can donate inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app.
Yeah, there's so many different ways for folks to give.
Welcome back. Ready to smile? At 11 years old, you might not know what you want to do with the rest of your life. I know I didn't, but this little girl does. Hannah Rue, that is her. She definitely knows.
Yeah, her goal is to inspire others to reach for their dreams. As you can see, she is living one of her dreams here. WCNC Charlotte's Sarah French takes a look at how this young dancer is making a difference and motivating others along the way.
Well, I would want people to know that even though I look different, I'm just like you.
So Hannah is a spunky 11-year-old.
Hannah's mom, Katie, says her daughter was born missing both legs as well as part of one arm.
When we first found out, it was a big shock. But we had the whole pregnancy to kind of go through all those emotions.
And her mom says after Hannah was born, they never looked back.
We didn't think anything was going to stop her.
With the love and support from her family, Hannah took off. From baseball to soccer, gymnastics, and cheer, Hannah did it all. But dance became her passion.
I feel like dance is like a stress reliever, because sometimes after school I'll have like a stressful day, and then I'll come to dance that night and just like let all my feelings and emotions out, and I forget about everything around me, and I'm just like in the moment.
At Steps in Motion Dance Studio, Hannah says she feels at home.
I'll just like imagine me like almost like in the future, just like dancing on like stage or something. I want to be an amazing dancer.
Hannah's mom said when they first called Steps, they weren't sure how it would all play out.
When we first called up and let them know about her, we kind of didn't say a whole lot, because we're like, she's very independent. This is her body. She was born, born a little different and has prosthetics, and we'll just kind of see where it goes.
And when Hannah joined new classes, she was fine with questions from the other kids.
Everyone's curious, and like people haven't seen me before, so I just want everyone to know that like I'm fine talking about my body. It doesn't make me uncomfortable or anything, and I accept all questions.
Hannah is working on walking in her full leg prosthetics as well. But for now, she's comfortable just like this.
She's definitely in her element when she's on stage. Hannah, when she's dancing, she's in her own world, and I can see her just dance away everyday stresses of the world. I see every emotion just come out, and just pure happiness. And that's, as a mom, the best thing to see. She's taught me just to be yourself. That's been, I think, the most important thing with her.
It doesn't matter if you're different or not. And I know sometimes things can be hard because it's like life can be completely different, but just don't let that bring you down, and to always remember that you're different and that's fine. It's perfect, perfectly fine.
Hannah encourages all of us to embrace what makes us unique, pursuing your passions along the way. For WCNC Charlotte, I'm Sarah French.
Now to your forecast, here's a live look at the Honey Hunters Field in Gastonia. Today is shaping up to be gorgeous. Temperatures expected to reach the upper 80s. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy joins us now. So Chris, how are we looking out there?
Well, it's a Tina Turner type of day. Why?
Simply the best.
Simply the best. Better than all the rest on that 7-day forecast. 79 degrees in Charlotte. Actual air temperature 77 in Salisbury. Look at those blue skies. It feels great. It looks great. So thus, it must be great, right? And look at those dew points. Dew points either side of 60. It's still a little sticky, but hey, you're not going to have a complete break from the humidity this time of the year. This is pretty much as best you're going to get it for a break. Anytime you're in the 50s, it feels amazing. Seriously, enjoy it. If you're not a big fan of that oppressive heat and humidity, well, don't go outside the next few days after today. But today was an easy choice for pick of the week. Honestly, this is probably my easiest choice I've had so far for pick of the week. Upper 80s, pretty much where we should be this time in August. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the day. It's going to be a wonderful Wednesday to embrace the alliteration. Your afternoon forecast, these numbers also matching, proving that we have no real heat index for today, and love that bottom line. Golden suns for all 6 panels here. Our evening out forecast, well, I think it's a great time to maybe eat outside, grab a picnic table if you want to do it as the sun is setting right after 8 o'clock. And then we have the mid 70s down to the lower 70s by 11 p.m. Overnight tonight's going to be a little bit chillier compared to where we have been. Kind of similar start to what we had on Saturday and Sunday morning. Back to the mid 60s, and then we go back to where we have been. That heat is building. That humidity is building. Back to the lower 90s tomorrow, feeling more humid, even a chance for thunderstorms late day. But hey, this is nothing. I'll tell you which day could be close to 100 degrees and how long that heat lasts.
WCNC Charlotte. Weather is a kind of science that you get to see and experience every day. And I think some people don't even realize how much it affects them. That weather has a huge impact on how it threatens your family, your livelihood, or your home. So I think it really is one of those defining things we do that really affects everybody in our community. See the difference. That process of giving you a warning ahead of time and keeping you and your family safe is really important to me because I live here too. It's my family, it's my friends, it's my neighbors.
Hundreds of Lancaster students heading back to the classroom this fall will return with additional support. Lancaster Promise Neighborhood Program is a federally funded 5-year grant providing wraparound services like tutoring, trips, and activities in areas of need. WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood has a closer look at the program and how it's making a difference.
For the past year, the Lancaster Promise Neighborhood Program has been working to make a difference in the lives of students.
We're just living in a little small town of Lancaster, South Carolina, but if they get that exposure, then they have a world of opportunities.
Ebony Mitchell knows the benefit of the program firsthand. She's been working alongside the hundreds of participants from Lancaster High School, A.R. Rooker Middle, and Clinton Elementary.
Giving them the opportunity to travel, see the world, be exposed to different cultures, different careers.
The program is federally funded to support students who need it most. Michaela Quattlebaum just graduated from Lancaster High and had the chance to participate over the summer as part of the Bridge program to college.
A lot of lectures about career choices, counseling services, balancing college and social life.
Now, as she heads to the University of South Carolina Lancaster, she hopes to help others when she earns her college degree.
I plan to become a guidance counselor for middle school.
The program is still accepting applicants for the upcoming year.
They are more excited about coming to school.
Learn more on WCNC.com. Kaylin Hagwood, WCNC Charlotte.
Almost always means those back to school photos. But first, we want to make sure that we're sharing some tips from the Child Rescue Coalition about ways you can share these pictures while keeping your family safe. Now, specifically, you want to be careful about what's in these pictures. Make sure your post avoids certain details like sharing the name of your kid's school and the teacher. So schools have these websites that sometimes list addresses and other teacher information that can tell people exactly what room your kid is in. So you definitely want to keep your teachers' names out. Now, it's also a good idea not to share what your kids' favorite foods or hobbies are. It could actually give predators information on how to gain trust or pretend to be their friend. Now, these are just a couple of tips that we got from experts, but as you share those photos, try to think of how any of this information in your posts might be used against you. This way you can keep sharing, but do so safely. And this morning, we want to see those back to school photos, of course, safely, without that information that we just mentioned there. Make sure you text them in at 704-329-3600. County schools aren't the only school districts that are talking about banning books.
CMS is changing how books are selected and removed in schools. Let's connect the dots. Some parents are pushing school districts to ban books focusing on race, history, and sexuality. Now, one of the biggest school districts in the state is listening to their concerns. Tonight, a school board could approve a plan that gives parents the power to review all textbooks in person. It's part of a growing trend across the country. In a recent report, PEN America reported more book bans during the fall of 2022 than in each of the prior 2 semesters. But the movement is largely driven by a vocal minority. Another 2022 poll actually found that over 70% of parents oppose banning books. And that's connecting the dots.
Time now is 6:14 on this Wednesday morning, and of course we're asking, where's the money? Now, for those on the lookout for a new job, we're breaking down the numbers showing pay for new hires is going down. Before, employers struggled to fill open spots as many results of the pandemic, but that is starting to change. So the Wall Street Journal took a look at the 20,000 jobs that were posted on ZipRecruiter, showing average pay for most roles went down. At least 2 industries saw the deepest salary dives. That's transportation and technology. Although it's important to note, businesses in these categories could be making up for big hiring pushes that they made last year and in 2021. Meanwhile, the Department of Labor says wage growth peaked last summer. Since then, though, it's dropped by about 6%. And even more data, this time coming from researchers out of a firm called Gusto, shows pay rates for new hires are 5% lower than this time last year. Now, when it comes to the people in jobs that are most effective, well, pay rates for engineers and developers dropped 18% in just the past year. It's why we're asking this morning, what is your top negotiating tip? Make sure you text us 704-329-3600.
Wake up to the news that matters most with meteorologist and traffic reporter Chris Mulcahy.
And we're all clear. We're keeping you smarter, safer, and on time.
Start your day the Mulcahy way. See the difference. 4:30 to 7 on WCNC Charlotte.
Cooper firing back after the General Assembly overturned 6 of his vetoes. Live pictures right now from the state capitol up in Raleigh, where last night state lawmakers voted to ban gender-affirming care for minors. Critics saying a lot of the key protections for transgender youth in North Carolina are now gone. Kia joins us right now, standing by to break down what was a busy night up in Raleigh. Kia.
That's right, Ben. So opponents say several of the laws now in effect are targeting the LGBTQ community. So starting this morning, medical professionals in North Carolina are not allowed to provide hormone therapy, puberty-blocking drugs, or surgical gender transition procedures. That's to anyone under 18. But if a minor started treatment before August 1st, well, they can continue to get their care if their doctors say it's medically necessary and they have the parents' consent. Now, another law now in effect bans transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams. A third bill going into effect today has to do with the relationship between educators and parents. Now, public school teachers have to let parents know if they call a student by a different name or a different pronoun. Critics of this bill say it could make schools unsafe for transgender youth who may be outed by a teacher to unsupportive parents. It also bans instruction about gender identity and sexuality in K-4 classrooms. Now, we expect Governor Cooper to address the vetoes later today.
It involves new technology and old school puzzle solving. In this case, a puzzle about this well-known Charlotte hotel and a mystery that dates back 3 decades.
I was in shock. I was like, are you serious?
Becky Insagno was not expecting what she got when she answered the phone late one Sunday night a few months ago.
My life has felt like a roller coaster, actually. I'm between a 2020 episode and a Lifetime movie.
The call was from a forensic genealogy specialist who'd been trying to solve an old Charlotte mystery.
In 1988, in what we now know as the Dunhill Hotel here in Charlotte, that building had been abandoned for a while, and Dunhill Development had started working on the building to make it into what we now see as a hotel. In that process, they located human remains in the elevator shaft.
With little to go on at the time, the case was unsolved for decades.
In 1988, there was no technology like this. So those bones sat in storage in a box. And in 2022, we carried those remains to Raleigh,
where a forensic anthropologist managed to get DNA from the bones and sent it to a genealogist who used websites similar to Ancestry DNA to build a family tree.
We take that DNA from an unknown person and we submit it into a consumer database, and they're a John Doe or a Jane Doe, but we build a family tree around that person.
I mean, he went missing, I want to say back in the early 80s. I think I was probably 11, maybe the last time I saw him.
Turns out the man in the elevator shaft was Becky's uncle.
She was like, "Are you related to an Oliver Mundy?" And I'm like, "Well, yes."
They called him OD. He served in the Army in World War II, fought in several key battles, but had a tough time in later years and often slept on the streets. Becky says her father always worried about his older brother.
He was, very, very honorable and brave. And I'm sure that, serving like he did and fighting for the country and for us, that's just a lot.
Her dad died never knowing what happened. She's grateful she now has answers.
What's it like to be able to give families closure after all this time?
I hate that word. Closure indicates somebody's going to feel better. I don't think I can give them that. It was great to be with them to see the relief. I give them answers. I guarantee them I'll give them answers.
Like I said, everybody was just in shock because it's been so long. And just to get his remains, back with us. So my plan is to put my uncle with my dad and my family where he needs to be. And that would make my dad so happy.
Since learning his fate, Becky has worked with Veterans Affairs and learned her uncle received several medals and 2 Bronze Stars.
I guess just thinking, about my uncle. Everything he went through, how my dad just worried about him so, and just to get him back with my dad. I wish they would have been able to identify him a lot sooner, because then my dad, would have had some closure at that point. But it's definitely better late than never.
CMPD has solved 3 other cases in this same way, and they have 8 other cases they'd like to tackle. They just need funding to do that. Reporting in Charlotte, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
When it comes to WCNC's chief meteorologist Brad Panovich, our viewers tell the whole story.
Hey, if you're new to the area, this meteorologist is awesome.
I always stick with Brad Panovich when it comes to severe weather. He's rarely wrong.
You should follow Brad if you don't already. He's usually right on the money with his forecast.
I don't look at anything else besides what Brad says. We are fortunate to have him here.
Brad Panovich. Experience the difference with WCNC Charlotte weather.
Well, CMS and Union County students head back to school in a little more than a week. And even though the weekend is almost here, you might be wondering, should you start getting your kids back into that early morning school schedule now? Wake Up Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
Summertime is not only a great time for kids to sleep in, but also parents if they can. Even though it's nice to catch up on those extra Z's, is it better to get your kids back into the school wake-up schedule before school starts? Let's verify.
Our sources, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, Dr. Brian Chen, sleep specialist for the Cleveland Clinic, and Dr. John White, chief medical officer for WebMD. Soon those alarm clocks will be ringing for school children. And Dr. Chen says the sooner you turn them back earlier, the easier the transition.
So it's important to start that transition early so that there's not a big jump whenever you get back to going to school, and there's not going to be that whiplash where you're kind of real tired.
Dr. White agrees and suggests kids go to bed 15 minutes earlier every day or every other day to make the adjustment.
Wake up time, shifting that 15 minutes earlier as well, every couple of days. And that includes on the weekends.
The American Academy of Sleep Medicine says preschoolers require 10 to 13 hours of sleep. Kids ages 6 to 12 require 9 to 12 hours of sleep, and teens require 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Dr. White says if you don't gradually adjust the kids' wake-up schedule, that first day of school will be a shock to their system.
Kids aren't going to be able to wake up on time. You're going to be rushed and hectic in the morning, and nobody wants that. And then they may have trouble concentrating that first week or two in class.
So we can verify that, yes, it is better to get your kids back into the school wake-up schedule before school starts. That way they are set up for success in getting adequate sleep when it counts. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
And folks, if you have something you'd like us to verify, all you got to do, email us at verify@wcnc.com.
When did you know what you wanted to be?
Hey, Mom, the weather's on!
WCNC Charlotte's chief meteorologist, Brad Panovich, always knew what he was meant to do.
All right, don't forget your umbrella.
In fact, he joined the American Meteorological Society when he was 13. Now Brad is all grown up. You can see him right here on WCNC Charlotte, making sure you're informed and safe.
Hey, where did all my hair go?
Experience the difference.
Now to your forecast, here's a live look at the Honey Hunters Field in Gastonia. Today is shaping up to be gorgeous. Temperatures expected to reach the upper 80s. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy joins us now. So Chris, how are we looking out there?
Well, it's a Tina Turner type of day. Why?
Simply the best.
Simply the best. Better than all the rest on that 7-day forecast. 79 degrees in Charlotte. Actual air temperature 77 in Salisbury. Look at those blue skies. It feels great. It looks great. So thus, it must be great, right? And look at those dew points. Dew points either side of 60. It's still a little sticky, but hey, you're not going to have a complete break from the humidity this time of the year. This is pretty much as best you're going to get it for a break. Anytime you're in the 50s, it feels amazing. Seriously, enjoy it. If you're not a big fan of that oppressive heat and humidity, well, don't go outside the next few days after today. But today was an easy choice for pick of the week. Honestly, this is probably my easiest choice I've had so far for pick of the week. Upper 80s, pretty much where we should be this time in August. Enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the day. It's going to be a wonderful Wednesday to embrace the alliteration. Your afternoon forecast, these numbers also matching, proving that we have no real heat index for today, and love that bottom line. Golden suns for all 6 panels here. Our evening out forecast, well, I think it's a great time to maybe eat outside, grab a picnic table if you want to do it as the sun is setting right after 8 o'clock. And then we have the mid 70s down to the lower 70s by 11 p.m. Overnight tonight, it's going to be a little bit chillier compared to where we have been. Kind of similar start to what we had on Saturday and Sunday morning. Back to the mid 60s, and then we go back to where we have been. That heat is building. That humidity is building. Back to the lower 90s tomorrow, feeling more humid, even a chance for thunderstorms late day. But hey, this is nothing. I'll tell you which day could be close to 100 degrees and how long that heat lasts.
WCNC Charlotte. This is Flashpoint, where power and politics collide and the tough questions get asked and answered.
Thanks for joining us here on Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. This weekend, thousands are in Uptown to celebrate Pride here in the Queen City, and it couldn't come at a more critical time. This week, lawmakers in Raleigh passing several laws targeting the transgender community, and folks are fired up. Joining us now is Liz Shobe and Daniel Valdez, both with Charlotte Pride. Thank you both for coming on. We appreciate it. Happy Pride, I should say.
Happy Pride. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. I want to go through some of these laws that were passed this past week up in Raleigh. You got a ban on trans women taking part in women's sports. You got a ban on doctors from offering any sort of gender-affirming care for minors, a ban on elementary schools from having any materials dealing with gender or sexuality, and that would also force teachers to out any of their trans students to that child's parents. I know we always say that Pride started as a protest and not a celebration. This is a reminder of that. So beyond this weekend, what implications do you worry these laws could have? I want to hear from you both, but Liz, I'll start with you.
Well, laws like this will have an impact for a long time, even if they end up becoming, scratched from the law in a few years. It's going to have a resounding effect for a very long time. And I believe it sets a very dangerous precedence. All people want to do is live their lives and play sports and have fun. And any law that is based on fear is ultimately not one that's going to benefit all of society. So I encourage folks to think really critically about this law, and even if these laws don't affect you personally, it might affect someone that you love. And even if you don't know someone personally who these laws affect, there's still going to be long term ramifications that we're not sure of yet, but we do believe that they're going to be very dangerous.
Daniel?
Yeah, I think you mentioned this is a reminder to all of us that this work continues, that there are leaders out there, elected officials who are doing this for political theater, really. And we know that the majority of Americans do not agree with these bills that are being passed, and it's really important for us, not just this week, but throughout the year, to continue to engage our community so that they know what these elected officials are doing in our state legislature. And I think we have to organize to send them a very clear message that the majority of Americans do not agree with what they're doing.
Yes, advocacy is going to really be a really big touch point at the festival. We had already planned that, and this just mobilizes us all the more.
I mean, the gay and trans movement had a number of victories locally, but also nationally for the past decade. Do you think this actually serves as a good reminder to folks going to Pride this weekend? Hey, there is still